start with some quarterbacks. The rookie sensation, CJ Stroud, concussion. Again, I know that it's just the basic concussion protocol, but what kind of updates do you have on him, Tom?
Well, he did not practice today on Wednesday, so that will make it a challenge for him to be ready for Sunday. Not impossible, but a challenge. So it's just a waiting game from here. He's been absolutely incredible this year, so hopefully he can get ready, but we'll see.
Dude's been a stud. Quarterback 6, 18.6 points per game, even without some of his weapons. Nico Collins going down. We'll talk about him a little bit later with Tank Dell being down. Tom, my boy Noah Brown, 2 weeks of nothing, 0 catches. I don't know what's going on there, but next year, tell me if you agree. I mean, next year I could see him going like where Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson went this year in that range, like a 4th, 5th round. You agree with that? I mean, next year, fantasy 5th rounder or something like that. I mean, he is showing out as a rookie, man.
As it stands today, I would think it's more like 6, 7, 8. But of course, if Houston goes and adds some superstar on offense, maybe gets him a more comparable running back, then yeah, I could see him making that jump.
Yeah. Don't love the matchup this week, but I almost think crazy enough at QB6, I think he's been too good to sit unless you have another elite option. So we'll check out CJ Stroud. Another guy, a surprise scratch last week, right? Well, I don't know about surprise, but it kind of came in late. Geno Smith nursing that groin injury. He's QB 18, so we've seen a lot of regression from him. But what can you tell us about Geno Smith's groin coming up?
Well, as of this recording, we don't have Seattle's practice reports yet, but we do know that Pete Carroll did not sound overly optimistic about Geno playing. But again, Pete Carroll's not very reliable with those types of press conferences. So it's pretty unclear right now. But let's think about how the groin is involved in the throwing motion. The throwing motion involves a lot of hip rotation and a lot of transferring the weight from the back leg, which in his case would be the right leg, to the front leg. So while the groin is not a primary hip rotator, it does play a role in hip rotation, and it is very involved in being stable on one leg, or even just when like 80% of your weight is shifted to one leg or not. So I could definitely see this impacting his deep ball. So someone like Metcalf and Lockett, that could affect them, of course. And Geno himself, I don't think he's startable at this point unless you're in a 2 QB league, and this injury doesn't make me any more confident in him starting. So it's kind of a limbo thing where it's like if he plays, it's not going to be the worst injury that he could have, but it definitely could make things worse for his throwing, which could then make things worse for his receivers.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think the Geno Smith analysis is more our worry, or are we going to play DK Metcalf? Are we going to play Lockett, JSN, so on and so forth? In terms of his season, yeah, I mean, we knew regression was coming. Seahawks right now on the outside looking in. I mean, they need a win. They're going to do whatever it takes. At least Drew Lock is solid. I mean, again, he's not the worst backup to have. I wouldn't mind him. I mean, without Geno, I think it's definitely a downgrade for DK. I mean, even if he does play, you talked about the deep ball. I think with Drew Lock in the lineup, I feel like he will look to, at least what I saw last week, safer, quote unquote, options, a Tyler Lockett, a dump down to one of their running backs, right? I think you're still playing DK, but I don't love this news overall for fantasy playoffs, at least this week so far. All right.